Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of the Word With Zay podcast. I am your host, Zaylen Herald, and thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. I'm gonna admit, I'm not gonna try to front. I'm not gonna try to showboat, y'all. I am kind of nervous for this episode, but I prayed before I began recording, so I know God's gonna lead the way. But I was sitting in my office, and we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. I was sitting in my office the other day, and excuse me, and I was just praying and just asking God, Lord, what could I talk about this week? And for some reason, the topic of amniotic band syndrome fell into my spirit, and it was kind of shocking because I've never talked about it before. I don't like talking about it because I have that, and it has really, really been a struggle for me. Not all the time. It's it just comes like ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's good, and then sometimes I have my days where I'm like, dang it, man. But all is well. God has a reason for everything. He has a purpose and a plan for everything. But I have amniotic band syndrome. I was born with it. Um, and I'm just gonna give you guys a little bit of information, and then I'm gonna tell you guys how it is for me. Growing up with amniotic band syndrome and just learning how to navigate through life with that. So, what is amniotic band syndrome? It is a rare condition that occurs when the amniotic sac tears, creating strands of tissue that can strangle a developing fetus, which is a baby. And we know that it says developing fetus, so obviously it happens during the pregnancy. And it also says that only one in 1,200 people have reported to have amniotic band syndrome. Only one out of 1,200 people are born with that. And it could be an amniotic band syndrome could be constriction rings around fingers or toes. It could be webbing of fingers or toes. It could be the absence of a limb, digit, or part of a limb, which is what I have. If you could see here, for the ones that are audio, you can't see, but if you watch this on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. I'm just gonna show you guys. If you could see, like right here, this finger here, it was amputated when I was a baby because I chewed on it a lot as a baby because I didn't have any feeling in it, like complete no feeling in it whenever I was a baby. Now I can like feel pressure, like whenever I tap on it or whenever I like touch it, I can feel the pressure, but nothing like how it would be with this hand here. But I would bite on my hand all the time, and the fingers would just pop open and just bleed. Well, this specific day, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I don't know why I remember this, but God, I thank you for a good memory. I remember it like it was yesterday. My nurse, shout out to her. I'm not going to say her name just out of respect for her, but she knows exactly who she is if she tunes in. She's been in my life forever. But she was on one end of the couch, and I was laying down taking a nap on the other. And I had put my hand in my mouth. I remember it, y'all. And I was just biting on it, just gnawing on it. My mother says that it got amputated, but I clear, y'all, I remember biting off my finger. I do. I remember it. But she says that it was amputated. So I went along with that over the years, but I remember biting that finger off. But it was amputated, and yeah, it's like it was amputated. So I only have let's see. Yeah, I only have four. I have four. I call them nubs. I call them nubs because they're not like full grown fingers yet. Um, but I have that the absence of a limb or part of a limb. I have that. It's a hand, but it's not a full grown hand. If you know what I mean. Like see like how this one here is like this, and this was like this is a full grown hand. This was like this. Amniotic band syndrome. Um, and the risk factors for that during pregnancy. Whenever I was doing research on it, it um it said not only absence of a limb, digit, or part of a limb, but it could be amniotic band syndrome could be a cleft lip, a cleft palate, small eye, narrowed nasal passage, or abnormalities of the skull. Um, and it could be from smoking during pregnancy or using illegal substances or taking medication during a pregnancy. And it also says that I thank God that I'm still here. Thank you, God. To God be the glory. But it says that amniotic band syndrome can lead to serious birth disorders or even death. The severity of that depends on the degree of constriction and the affected body part. So I thank God. And that's really all the information that I have. But I thank God for um how it is. And I battled with that. I battled with learning how to accept it because there's been certain phases in my life where I'm like, God, really? Really? Me? Why me? You know? Like why can't I be a normal human being? And I am, and just through prayer and talking to certain family members, I began to understand, I am normal. I'm just normal in a unique way. Let me say it again. I am normal. I'm just normal in a unique way. Somebody will probably catch on to that later. But I went through a phase where I just, and I still do to this day. I still often, I'll look at it and I'm like, God, you know, why me? And I have to realize that I was made like that for a reason. And I also it's so discouraging. It can be so discouraging at times because I want to be able to lift weights. If you guys have heard me last week and the week before that, I talked a little bit about my weight loss journey. And I want to be able to lift weights without having to get a prosthetic hand. I want to be able to do those things and walk. And like if I walk into a gym and I see someone over there lifting weights, it will kind of become discouraging because it's like, God, why can't I do that? Like why do I have to go to all these different lengths and levels and get a prosthetic and this, that, and the third just to be able to lift weights? Why do I have to do that? But I am normal, just normal in a unique way. Hey, just give me 1 second, just one. Why ain't you following us on our social medias? Why haven't you downloaded the podcast? Why? And I need to know. Huh? Huh? Exactly. There's no excuse. So this is what I need from you guys. I need for you to go right now. Before we get back to this show, I need for you to go to Instagram and I need you to go to TikTok. In the search bar, I need for you to type in a.p.inc media _. It'll pop right on up there. Just hit the follow button. And then I need for you to slide right on over. It's right there across the street from it. It's right there on Podcast Avenue. You'll see it as soon as you turn left from Social Media Street. Turn left and you'll see it. Podcast Avenue. Big old sign. the Word With Zay podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. And you can also slide it on YouTube as well if you want to watch it visually. But I need for you guys to go to those platforms, wherever you would like to tune in, and go and hit that follow button and also download. Alright, love you guys. Let's get back to the show. Deuces. You know, I oftentimes, and actually, I'm gonna say this, particular, was not particular, I used the wrong word, excuse me. Specifically, just last year, I went through a phase to where I was just so upset. I'm not going to say angry because I wasn't angry. I wasn't angry at all. I was just so upset because I've gotten all of these prophetic words over the years saying that my hand's going to grow and this, that, and the third. And I found myself in a place where I'm like, okay, the word came forth. It's been 20 years. What's going on? Why ain't nothing happened? Why ain't nothing happened? But that's when it dawned on me, Zay, it's all in God's timing. It's all in God's timing. And other people would say, Zay, it's all in God's timing. And to hear people say that, it would just infuriate me because it's like I'm sick of waiting. You know, I'm sick of just skating through life every day with it. You know, it was hard for me to accept it, and I still find myself in those places now, but it's nothing like how it used to be because oh, y'all just don't know. Like I was in a place to where I was just like, I don't know what I got to do. Do I need to get it amputated? Like I was sick of it. You know, I was sick of it, but I thank God. I thank God for it. You know, when I talked to my cousin, and she really, she really said some deep things, just saying how unique it was, and you know, just things like that. And I won't go too deep into what she and I discussed, but it really opened my eyes to see it in a different way. But it's just it can be so discouraging sometimes. And then, like, whenever I'm out in public and I see little kids that I know, little kids, they don't know no better. They gonna stare. They don't know no better. They don't care. They gonna do. But like, if I'm out in public and I'm going somewhere, there'll be a little kid just sitting there just staring at it. I'm like, bruh, really? And I hate it. I hate it. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I hate it. I can't stand for people to ask me about it. I can't stand for people to just stand there and stare at it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it, and I don't know why. That's something that I'm gonna have to pray about. But you know, I was bullied about that and many other things when I was in school, and of course, y'all are going to hear more about that, about the bullying, in episodes to come. But I was bullied for it. I was, and I remember in school, in elementary school, I remember I believe she was like a physical therapist or something like that, and she would pull me out of class. I want to say at least once a week, and I remember it. I don't know why I remember that, but it was in elementary school. I was in kindergarten. She would pull me out of class, and I would have to tie a tennis shoe. I would have to tie a tennis shoe, and I could do it. You know, I was. It took me a minute, but I was able. Excuse me. I was able to do it. I was able to tie the shoe, and that's how I learned to tie my shoes. Um, I'm able to cook. I'm able to clean. I'm able to do all of these things, and that is why I thank God, because I'm able to do all these things. When if it would have been worse, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do. Like, I'm able to do this. I'm able to, do all of these things. So it's like in some way or another, I'm able to find some way to find something positive in it. Yes, it discourages me sometimes. Yes, it hurts my feelings sometimes because it's like, Lord, why me? I want to be normal, you know, but I'm always able, and I know it's nothing but God. I know it is. It's nothing but God. I'm able to find positivity in that discouragement, in that time of feeling like just worthless because of it. And especially y'all just don't know. I was bullied so bad because of it. And that is why I felt so worthless because of it. Just listening to other people talk junk to me about it, call me out my name because of it, talk about it, just all of those negative things. It really, it really discouraged me and really kind of put me down. But it wasn't until I learned to pray. It wasn't until I learned to seek the face of Jesus Christ that I learned my worth. I found my worth. I found my value in Him. And that's really what I wanted this episode to be about, was to come on and talk to you guys about ABS, Amniotic Band Syndrome, and also let you know that the ones that deals with that or any other kind of medical situation, and I don't call it a I mean, medically it's considered a disability, but I don't call it a disability. I cannot stand that word. My mom will tell you real quick, if somebody's sitting around me and I hear them talking about me and they say disability, I'm gonna look at them real quick, like, yeah, straighten that out, straighten it out, because I can't stand it. Don't sit here and try to say I have a disability. Yes, I know medically it's considered a disability, but I can't stand that word, because even though I have amniotic band syndrome, I'm able to cook for myself, clean, dress myself, wash myself, do all these things. So I don't consider it to be a disability. I'm able to carry chairs, I'm able to carry tables, I'm able to do all of these things. So to hear people say it's a disability, I can't stand it. It makes my blood boil. And I am not kidding whenever I say that. Like, it infuriates me, because it's almost like to hear people, and this is the truth. To hear people say the word disability around me whenever they're talking about me, and I hear them say the word disability, it makes me feel less of a person. It makes me feel like I have to, almost like it feels like I have like a barrier in front of me. And I hate that word. It makes me feel like I can't do whatever I can. It just burns me up inside, and I can't stand that word. Yes, I know that it's the correct medical term, but I can't stand it. So when it comes to amniotic band syndrome, whenever it comes to any medical situation that anybody may have, you're not alone. I have it. I made it through. I overcome. So can you. We can all overcome. And there were so many times that I felt like I wasn't going to. So many times that I felt like I would never amount to anything because of it. And because of the words of others, because of the negative words from others. But I learned how to drown out the negativity whenever I learn to get in this right here. This right here is what has got me through, and it still does to this day. And for the ones that are listening audio, I know you can't see it, but for the ones that can see, the Word of God is what has got me through all of this. And it's not just the amniotic band syndrome, it's much more, that I've been through. And I may not go too deep into the other things because I don't have all the facts. I don't have the real information. I've heard different stories over the years that I don't really know what is factual information and what's not. So I don't plan to go too deep into that, but I'm mind blown because I never would have thought that this topic that I'm discussing with you guys today would be a topic that I ever talked about on Word With Zay, because I don't like to talk about it. I don't like the fact that I have it, so why would I talk about it? But I know that there's a reason why I have it. There's a reason why this episode is today. There's a reason why the Holy Spirit um put the idea to do this episode and to have this topic as an episode in my spirit. There's a reason why. There's a reason for everything, and I don't know the reason. It's not for me to know the reason. Only God knows, and He's gonna get the glory out of this episode and out of everything else that we do here at Word With Zay. But that's really the only thing, man. Just be encouraged. Know that there is a reason for everything, and for all of you, that I'm gonna look. I want to look down the barrel of this camera when I say this. Let me get this mic right, because I want y'all to hear me loud and clear. For the ones that deals with certain things, that has amniotic band syndrome, such as myself, or any other kind of uniqueness about them, listen to me, baby. You are unique. My cousin, I'm not gonna say his name out of respect for him, but my cousin had a T-shirt line a while back called "Uniquely Me." Yeah, "Uniquely Me," and that just, whenever I heard about him, about his clothing line, about that "Uniquely Me" clothing line, it defined everything about me, because I am uniquely me. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and so are you. So are you. So don't you ever, and I mean ever, allow somebody to make you feel worthless. Don't you ever allow somebody to make you feel like you don't have value because of something you may have that is different from the others. I had to learn that I was set apart. I had to learn that I was different, and I love it. I love being different. I love being unique. I love being uniquely me, because I know that nobody can clone me. Nobody can be me. Only I can be me. And like I told y'all in the episode before this one last week, my goal for 2025 is to be the best version of me that I can be. And that is being the true, authentic me. And that is what I want you guys to do. I want you to be you. And don't you let no devil under the ground you walk on stop you. And I hope that y'all are listening. I hope that you're listening. I hope that you're listening. I don't know why. I don't know why I am doing this episode, but God knows. And I know that it's because of God. But know that you are valuable. You are uniquely you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, and can't no devil in hell stop you. Can't no devil kill what God has anointed and appointed to live. It's point blank period. So Walk with your head up high, knowing that you were made for purpose, you were made for a reason, you were created how you were created for a reason. And don't let nobody stop you from getting to where God has called you to be. That's the end of this episode. We're going to go ahead and do our word of the day. And today's word of the day is simple. It is simple, and it is Philippians 4:13. And it simply says, no, is it? I think it's either 16 or it's either 13 or 16. Hold on. But yeah, know and understand that you are an overcomer. You are uniquely you. And don't let nobody stop you from getting to where God has called you to. You were made for purpose. You were made for a reason. And it's not for everybody to know to know your purpose. Sometimes it's not even for you to know your purpose. And I had to learn that because I've had so many days and nights that I've prayed. God, what am I here for? What is my purpose? Like, why am I even here? But I had to understand. I was created for a reason, and sometimes it may not be the right time for me to know the reason of why I'm here. But I know I'm here for a reason. And on that note, the word of the day is Philippians 4:13, and it simply says this: I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. And on that note, thank you guys so much for coming on this afternoon. I love you guys. Remember to tune in next week for an all-new episode of the Word With Zay podcast. I hope there was something in this episode that you guys could take with you, that you can, use and apply to your life. If you ever feel, down and out about something, I hope that you can take this and use it, to help you, to help uplift and encourage you. I love you guys. And remember to go and follow us wherever you get your pods: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. And remember to go follow us on our socials, on our Instagram, our TikTok, and our YouTube. Our Instagram and our TikTok is APINC Media _ and our YouTube is Word With Zay podcast. That is where you can watch all full episodes visually. And then, of course, you can tune in on the other platforms and listen to the episodes. And on that note, I love you guys. See you next week. And as always, stay blessed, stay tuned, because another episode of the Word With Zay podcast is coming soon. And that is a Word With Zay. Peace.